welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In a fairly recent period of time ago, in a galaxy not quite so far away, two women celebrate Star Wars Day in style. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. I enjoyed that opening.
I'm glad because I wish you knew. I wish everyone knew. You know. I wish how much everyone knew. My brain power didn't. That's a small fraction of my brain power. That is not even. That wasn't even a thinker. That was we're having a conversation, and I wrote that one out.
She sure did. So Star Wars Day, we've missed it. We're aware.
Slightly. Well. Hang on. We've not missed it.
No,
technically
actually,
we're recording this. But yeah, due to things, I would say, I want to say due to things outside of our control, but it's definitely things within our control. Yeah, we just haven't. We've been busy, yo.
Yeah, we've been busy. We've been busy going places and doing stuff and
doing things
drinking
and stuff.
beers and working at our jobs to pay the bills.
Working at the jobs and then working at the jobs some more. Yeah. And then trying to fit in recording and life and everything else. But we're still here.
Yeah, we thought you might be interested in some Star Wars beers.
Better late than never. And actually, I would argue that when this comes out, it's probably slightly closer to had we released it this past
week.
The
day. Comparatively, because we could have released it the Monday before.
We were aiming to release it the Monday before.
May the 4th, obviously. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th is the day. We are releasing this on May the 8th.
Can I just say as well? I think I might have told you this before. Like, every time someone, it's like May the Force be with you, or whatever, I just think of, it takes you back to, church days as a kid, and I just want to go, and also with you. When people go, peace be with you, and also with you. I'm not even joking. Rick does it as well, involuntarily. It would just be watching, May the Force be with you, and both of us will just be and also with you. So and then there's also, there's May the 4th, but there's also Revenge of the 6th.
Oh yeah.
So that's not really an official Star Wars Day.
It's still fun though.
But I do that as well. I like to say that one as well. It's a good in. But yeah, so I guess
we got a Star Wars t-shirts on as well for those.
I do.
That are not watching the video. Do you want to describe yours?
There's not much to describe it as. It's an Emperor's Brewery t-shirt, I think. And I think that if you're listening to us, you probably, I feel like you probably know Emperor's Brewery. If you don't know Emperor's Brewery, we've got an episode on it. Or get out from under that rock.
Where you been? Where you been if you don't know who Emperors are? If you don't know
it's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't. But you're missing out on a lovely human being that is Damien.
Damien is amazing. He's such a cool dude. He makes spectacular beer with lots of other people. If you don't know who they are, you can go back to our episode which was Elusive with Emperors when they were brewing Double Morris Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Imperial Morris Man.
Imperial Morris Man.
And let me just say, girl, I picked up my barrel-aged Imperial Morris Man.
We're not going to drink
it on tap. No, we're not drinking it today. No,
because I haven't got it yet.
You don't, but I've got it for you.
Yes,
just
thank you.
Don't have it yet. But I also had it on tap, and it was just as beautiful as having the normal Imperial Morris Man. It was just like drinking chocolate. Just pure chocolate.
Morris Man, just on its own, is a good beer.
It's on its own, all forms. Haven't had the salted caramel yet, but I've got one of those as well. So that's a good in.
Yeah.
And try that one. But this is not about them. This is not even about Emperor's Brewery, even though it is sort of about Emperor's Brewery because it's very pivotal. But what are you wearing?
So my t-shirt is
Joe. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing Boutilia's, R.I.P. And this is their Layer Cake t-shirt, which is another beer this is a beer that they did with Emperors. Now, Layer Cake was good. I personally preferred the variant, the Layer Cake Older on Places.
I love the name.
Because, which was a variant because someone forgot to put the vanilla in. so they made a air quotes variant because someone forgot to put the vanilla in.
I like the pivot though. Of like that's the thing, because it's like what was left out was nothing that was gonna. I mean, I guess it could have made it unbalanced. I guess there's a risk that it could have made it unbalanced, maybe. But, like, you gotta love that when it's, like, someone makes a mistake and then you're like, we can pivot, let's just call it a variant. That's the best thing about beer, isn't it? It's like, if you sort of... there's always the risk for it to be unbalanced or to do things, but it's never gonna, like, as long as you're doing the fundamental stuff... It's still going to make a beer.
Yeah, I mean,
so you could just be like, whoops, fucked it, it's a variant.
I won't name names, but I think it was that Loki Lysmith guy.
I don't even know who that is.
Who did it? Nobody knows. He's a mystery.
I think actually, I mean, it's like Banksy, although I feel like he's been outed recently. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Anyway, we've got a few Star Wars beers. Now we've got one that's the same, and then we're drinking different ones, aren't we? Depending on what we have.
Yeah.
I suggested this episode because I seem to have an awful lot of Star Wars beers in my stash that I haven't drunk yet, and they're almost all Emperors. And I'm like, how have I ended up with this like Emperor's stockpile in my fridge? I don't know how it's happened.
The thing is, I also have a bunch. I only pulled out two other ones just to showcase, but I have a bunch of them too, and I think they pretty much all are like Emperor's collab ones. Yeah. as well to some degree, but also like mine were very much. I think I've only got one that's not an Emperor's collab, which is the one I'm gonna actually drink. But I also kind of was like, but I don't want to drink those ones. Yeah,
all of mine. We had this discussion before we started recording, and all of mine are Imperial Stouts. All barley wines, all of them.
So I was like, I'm going light today, and then she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I mean? I'm not going that hard. And then she's like, the first one is like, let's say what the first one is. I guess we'll say the first one.
So we've got a lovely little can, 250ml of 421 Imperial Stout from Brew by Numbers and Emperors, which was a collab that they did for the Star Wars Celebration event that they had the other week.
I don't know. What is time? What even
whenever
is time?
It was that time we were in London,
galaxy far, far away.
That was organised by Kimberly Craft Beer Pinup to coincide with Star Wars Celebration. If you don't know what Star Wars Celebration is, it is a massive Star Wars convention. I believe it moves around the world. So I think
it was in the US.
Yeah, I think it was in the US previously, California maybe. That's been in London. Like it's going to Japan for the next time.
Wow!
Yeah.
Yay! We'll get to this in a minute, but I feel like then I could be like, what? Do I need to go to Japan? Again? Way!
I quite like that this is in a 250ml can, actually, because it's an 11% cherry and chocolate Imperial Stout.
So, I don't know how I'm feeling about the can. Obviously, when I have the beer, it will dictate that. I think for, like, something like this, then, like, maybe 250 is good. But I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say, like, I feel like for things like this, the Imperial Stouts and stuff that is very niche, that you probably, or maybe, like, super thick and you don't want, like, a lot of it, then I could understand 250ml cans.
Yeah.
And I get, like, for production stuff, it's probably... probably can get more out of 250ml cans as well, I'm sure, to some degree as well. But I also had they did a Belgian double, I think it was, with damson, and that was really good. But again, like, I think they've just like switched now, and it seems like they're doing all their beers in these 250ml cans.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I got some takeaways when we were at the Star Wars event.
Yeah.
And they all seem to be, I've got a soda collab that they did. I think it's a collab. I think it is there. I'm not 100% sure, but that was a CBD soda. I haven't drank it. I'm too scared. I don't know. I haven't drank it yet. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I just haven't got around to having it yet. But that's 250ml, and then that like the damson double I had was a 250ml, and like that the damson double was so good, and I was just like, I wish that this was like a normal 440ml can.
Right.
And at the event, we'll talk about the event in a second, but there was an apricot. I want to say that was a Belgian as well. There was a Belgian apricot one, and that was so good. And I'm like, I just want to get a can of that, and I want like a proper 440ml can of it. But yeah, the majority of the stuff they had was 250ml. So we'll find out. Maybe it's paying off in this instance. But to be controversial, I think when it has its, in my opinion, it has its place of like, there's good things you can use 250ml cans for. Certain things I'm like, nah, I don't want that. I want a big boy. Or at least 330. Like, at least give me the little bit more 330ml.
I think 250 for an Imperial Stout is a good amount.
I think it depends on what it is. I think for me, like, it depends on what it is and like how.
Like a double digits Imperial Stout.
But if it doesn't drink like a double digiter, I'm kind of like, I want at least 330.
Yeah, but you're still taking in the same amount of
yeah, I know,
alcohol.
but yeah, I know, but like when it's like a proper, what I mean, I guess, is for me, this is for just strictly for me, and everyone's different. I think if it's one that's definitely more of like a sit on it and sip on it, like, because it's really quite boozy and it's not as smooth, easy drinking, going down as easily, and it tastes like a double digit. Then sometimes I go, yeah, okay, 250ml will be good because you can kind of sit and especially like let it get warm and take in all those flavors and everything. But when it's easier to drink, sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want more of it. Whereas like 250, I feel like when it's a higher ABV and it's like one that you need to sip on, you know me, I can't chew in a Starburst. I'm like, I'm done now. I would like
very easily bored by chewy sweets. Very easily bored.
And it's not easily bored, it's like 15 minutes in, I'm like, I'm done.
15 minutes? It's not 15 minutes. It's literally
it feels like 15. It feels
seconds.
like 15 minutes. It feels like at least a solid minute, and that is a long time to be chewing something. But if it's one that it's going to take more time, then like, yeah, 250ml for me makes sense. But like, for me, I just think I like the smoother, easy drinking stuff to just be more of it. But that's just me. So we'll find out. Maybe this will be the perfect size for this.
And find out. Let's find out. Now I
got two of these, and Rick drank the other one, so I really only have this one left, and I didn't even taste any of it.
I realise I don't have. Have you got your Emperor's glass? I did not.
I do.
Bring my Emperor's glass up.
More for you.
Yeah. Ooh, smells good.
I can smell it already as it's pouring.
It has got a beautiful head on it.
It does. Mine's gone now because I've just faffed about it, but it was lovely.
Definitely getting cherry. Definitely getting chocolate.
I was gonna say cherry and chocolate, and I do get like a booziness to the aroma as well.
Bit of roasty.
Smells give lovely. It a swirly whirly. Yeah. All right, I'm going in for a sip. I can't wait. I've had a day.
Here we go. Those booze.
Oh, see, it's comfortable. It's not as because I started to get the alcohol aroma to it. I was thinking, oh, that like boozy aroma. I was like, oh, this could be quite boozy warmth to it, like very very alcoholic tasting. But actually, I think it's fairly smooth compared to what I was expecting.
Okay. I had like booze up front, then dark chocolate, but then that cherry is just kind of lingering around, like chocolate covered cherries. It's just kind of lingering.
I think for me, the booziness is actually towards the back end.
Oh no, I get it straight away.
And I get chocolate and cherry sort of together, and then a little bit of maybe nuttiness and roastiness, and then booziness sort of at the back of it. And that's kind of what lingers at the back of my mouth, is like I've swallowed it now, and now there's like this booziness just like lingering. There's nice boozy warmth to it. It's good. It's nice. But I do think like this one, for me, because I also don't love cherry. Like I don't love chocolate and cherry. I don't know why. I like cherry.
You don't love chocolate and cherry? What, together?
Together. I like cherry, like cherry sours and like that kind of stuff. Love it. Chocolate and cherry can be like hit or miss with me, depending, because sometimes it can come across quite the cherry, if it's not balanced the right way, can come across too artificial, I guess is the way that I would say it, and it just doesn't work right. But this is really nice. This is quite smooth. Nothing tastes really artificial there, and it's quite well balanced between the cherry and the chocolate. So it's nice. But I think, like, because I don't naturally gravitate towards cherry and chocolate, that 250 is probably perfect for me on this one. I love my Emperor's glasses. It's like the perfect glass.
The Emperor's glasses are lovely. If you've not seen the Emperor's glasses, they are a proper snifter. So they look like a brandy glass, and they are perfect for an Imperial Stout because you can put a little bit in, give them a good swirl, get all of those like lovely aromas and flavours out.
Or if you're me, give it a good swirl, spill it fucking everywhere. And then go, oh, why am I like this? And then find something to clean it up, have a sip, and then repeat. It's just, feeling the vibes today. So, let's talk about this Star Wars event that we went to. So we went to the Star Wars event.
We did.
I feel like this whole episode, like, if I could let people know this one takeaway, because as we go through this episode, I feel like it's very key to know that, like, I didn't think I was like like, if you characterize people as like Star Wars people and non-Star Wars people, right? Yeah. I'd be like, I thought I was a Star Wars person in that, like, I watched the films, all the films. All the films. Yeah. I have, I think I still have it somewhere. I've got, like, and this is obviously controversial because this is like when I was a kid. Obviously, the prequels sort of came out when I was a kid. So I did have like a Padme Amidala like figure that my dad got me. So I had that. That's like when I was just preteen. I probably like went to the cinema and I remember like seeing all that. But I watched all the original films. I liked them. I've watched all the spin-offs. I've watched the new stuff. I've watched the shows. I think the only thing I've not really properly watched was like the animated series. I didn't really read any of the comics or novels or anything like that. Yeah. But I was like, I know Star Wars. I know the story. I know what's going on here. I could be a Star Wars people. And then you left, and I thought minimally. I
had to get
Rick,
a train.
You had to leave. You had to leave. Yeah, you had to like literally run. And Rick was with, and he's like, I mean, I say this in a loving way because I am as well, and I feel like it's okay to say, like, we are nerds. We're nerdy people. We like nerdy stuff, and I don't view nerd as like a rude thing at all. And I was like, you know what? This would be good between the two of us. We are definitely going to smash these quiz questions. And Rick was like, I don't know why you're saying this. I don't. He's like, because I was like, we've got this. And he's like, no, we don't. And he's like, I don't know Star Wars.
Not got this.
And he's like, I watch Star Wars. But he's like, but I don't think I'm going to know it like these people that have gone to the expo. And I was like, nah, I think we're going to be like really surprised by how much we know. And he was like, okay. And we got 3 questions in. And we were like, fuck, we are not Star Wars people. I think we got like 2 questions right, and we gave up before we hit 5 questions because we just couldn't, because it was like questions that to me, like, other people like easy, dead easy, got this. Yeah. And me and Rick were like, you might as well be asking us to take a Latin quiz. Like, it was, they were like, what is like this niche character in this one thing, what were they eating during this 30 seconds? And we were like,
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who that character is. We're like, I don't even know who that is, so I can't even make a guess. It was so, literally so bad. And then we just realised, like,
you're not Star Wars people.
But Star Wars people, I like it, and I like the lore, and I'm into that. Like, I'll go see a film when it comes out. I will,
like, I'm the same. That. Like, I distinct, like, I just, the moment that spoilers, in case you're not a Star Wars person, you're listening to this.
Oh, give like a 3-second spoilers.
Like, spoilers. When Anakin becomes Darth Vader and they put his mask on, like, top cinematic moments is when the mask goes on and he takes a breath. And it's just that scene, and they as he takes the breath, like the dust is like swirling as he takes his first breath. Such a good cinematic moment. Like, watch that while I was at uni. Like, just remember us all sat there going, that is the one. That is the moment of all of this.
I remember being like, oh, Hayden Christensen is a babe. And then I was like,
See,
I don't even care.
I'm Ewan McGregor. I'm Team Ewan McGregor.
No, I mean, I was as well. I was like, Moulin Rouge, like, you got, like, I'm in. I'm all in. Like, that's fine. But also, I remember just being like a young girl and being like, oh, yes, he's good. He's got it going on. And then he just becomes Darth Vader. And you're like,
oh.
But, like... Could he take them? Like, that means I never get to see him again without the mask. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, I'm so conflicted. I am so conflicted. But then, no, actually, I don't think, again, spoiler alert, I think you kind of don't get conflicted when a whole, like a whole school of children get murdered. You're kind of like...
Right, you're like, oh, yeah.
You're like, we had a good thing going. Our relationship, and it's not me, it's you, and I'm so sorry. It's definitely
you for murdering all the children.
And I was like, but then you kind of go from like, were they kind of annoying? Like, I don't. And then you're like, no,
Hayden, we're done.
No, but see, like, that's the thing.
Red flag.
Big red flag. But that is the thing. This is how you can tell we're tired. And we are. Yeah. I mean, I would apologise, but I'm kind of not sorry as usual. But also sorry because you are getting us on a day that we are just run ragged. But it is that thing of like that stuff. Is like I could tell you what happens in films. I could tell you what happens in the older films. So not just the newer films. Like, you know, there's the appreciation there. But I can't tell you what droid number 27 had for dinner in a random like I was literally like, oh shit, I don't know anything.
Kimberly's gonna get hold of us and be like, that wasn't one of the questions, what are you talking about?
It was there were things that were like that I went up to Kimberly and I was like, I thought I knew Star Wars and I don't know Star Wars. And then Rick's like, I told you we had no business trying to do the quiz.
Oh, I love it. Can I just do a side note that is neither Star Wars nor beer related? But if you are
as usual, go.
If you are a Ewan McGregor fan, top tip: please watch the film Velvet Goldmine. It is one of my favourite films ever.
Never heard of it.
Oh my god! Please look it up. It's got Ewan McGregor in it, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and. Ooh, Christian Bale. Christian Bale's in it. Please watch this film. It is when they originally wrote it, it was a biopic of David Bowie.
Oh, okay, that checks out.
He wouldn't allow them to use any of his music, so they then had to fictionalize it, and it's basically David Bowie's story, but not.
I'm just like picturing them being like, fuck, we gotta change all the songs. And they were like, ground control to Major Dave. And they're like, are you there?
No, but it's...
they're like, that'll do.
It is one of my favourite films ever, and if you like Ewan McGregor, please watch this film. You'll thank me.
Never even heard of it.
You're gonna message me and be like, Joanne, thank you.
Thank you.
Script to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In advance.
I will tell you now. You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, but like the Star Wars thing, I guess that people I guarantee will get messages that are like, if you like, because again, we definitely don't dislike Star Wars by any means.
We really like Star Wars. We are not the Star Wars people you're looking. We are not the Star Wars people you're looking for. If you want very specific niche information.
Yeah, I think it's just like I enjoy watching it, and I I think the whole reason for doing like this episode as well is just because also there's some fun facts for later that I just think are really super fun. Love a good fun fact, but yeah, I think it was quite important to do this episode anyway. It's just to be like, you can like things,
right? You don't need to know
even if you're not detail. A super fan, because I guarantee there's going to be people that will be like, why did you even do it if you don't like Star Wars, or
but we do like
why
Star
did you
Wars.
do yeah, no, I know, but you know there's going to be some people that just translate being a quote unquote casual and
and do you know what as well we're girls that like Star Wars. Because then, you know, when you're a girl and you like things, people turn around and be like, I'm going to ask you this really
What's
niche
your favourite?
question. I'm going to ask you this really niche question to, like, test whether you really like it. Nonsense.
And that's what I'm just kind of like, you can like things at a casual level.
Right,
and
you
just
can
be
casually
like
things. I casually like comic books. Like,
oh god, I've got a collection of comic books. It's
okay,
bad.
this is just turning into the
I know.
what nerdy things do we enjoy episode.
It's bad. Yeah, no one wants that.
You know what,
I've literally got boxes. I've got big comic
I've
boxes.
got boxes. I've got but
I had to move them all from the US.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I moved all my comics from the US.
That's commitment.
And we're not here to talk about
what
I may or may not have
geekdoms.
Bags. I mean, we should, but this is not what this is about. This is about Star Wars.
Star Wars beer is what this is about.
But so the event overall, like, it was good. Like, there was good beers on. I think the only thing, it was quite like, I got talking to some people as well that were at the convention, and like really good conversations. The people that people travelled over from the US to come here, and it was just so many people had travelled over from the US to come here, and I just think that's so cool that like one thing can bring so many different people together. And I met a bunch of people and that listen to the podcast, and we got to see Damien and Kimberly, and it was great. I
haven't seen Damien in ages. It's really nice. Like we keep missing each other at things, so it was good to see each other. And I think this is like kind of a good parallel between like Star Wars and other nerdy geekdoms and beer, is that they are things that bring people together at the end of the day. That's why they slot together so nicely.
Yeah, and then you had to run. The only thing I think is like
stay very long.
The only criticism I had was just like it took quite a while to get a beer. So it was kind of when you went up, you kind of had to get like two in one go. And I think it was maybe wouldn't have been so stressful had you not had to like run off. But I think it was because like sort of by the time we got there after the palaver that was trying to get there, because of its location, it is a little bit out of the way. Uber failed us, and it also happened to be on the same night as an Elton John concert. Yeah,
so I'm glad that I left when I did, because I didn't get caught up in the Elton John fans.
I did, and that's fine. I really like Elton John. Actually,
I like Elton John. I love Elton John.
I was going to say, I absolutely
just
love
want to be able
Elton
to get on
John.
a tube, though.
Yeah, so I got on the tube, and it was really funny because there were also people visiting, I think, from the US to go to the Elton John show.
Yeah.
And there was quick anecdote that is again neither Star Wars. I mean, it is just Elton John on the way. I guess it's Star Wars. I was coming back from Star Wars, so it was like this massive queue, and it was like, oh, it's cool. It was moving quite quickly. It's fine. We got on, happy days. And then there was like everyone that came from the Elton John gig was ripped. They were absolutely just hammered. Like it was hammer time on that tube. 100%. And like we had been drinking like all day, and I was still like, wow, these people are drunk. Like, oh my god. I think we were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think we paced ourselves
all day.
Really well that day.
And yeah, there was like one point where the tube stopped. It was the Jubilee.
Yep.
So it was the Jubilee line, and it was like the tube had stopped somewhere, and then this person that's like from the US, like it had been stopped for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and this person from the US was like, oh, I've got to get up, hold the door, and I was like, this is not how the tube works. And then she proceeded to sort of like run out. She was not sober. It was her and her friend, and they were sort of like chuckling the whole way out, and they were like, hold the door. Then they like jumped out, and then like I think nearly got stuck in the train door. God. And I was just like, this is, you can't just hold a tube waits for no person.
Tube waits for no
the tube waits for no one. The tube goes where the tube goes. And so yeah, that happened. But overall it was a good night. I think it was just because you had to go out to like some place that was a little bit outside of like the other areas, so because of the Elton John concert, it made it harder to get there. So we actually got there later, fairly later than intended, and then by that point we had to queue for like quite a while to get a drink, and then you were like, I gotta go.
Yeah. And I was like, bye.
But overall it was really good.
Home, though.
It was really good, and I thought like there was really good conversation. Like I got to talk to a lot of people. It was really, really nice getting to talk to a lot of people. And then I mean I wasn't in a rush because I was parked I was parked at Shepherd's.
Yeah,
Bush. I did. So yeah, I was gonna say like Rick. Yeah. Rick drove, not me driving. I'm like, I was drinking all day, and then I was parked at Shepherd's Bush. No, Rick drove. But yeah, so it wasn't too bad. But then you messaged me when you got back. You're like, I got chicken nuggets, and I was like, I want nuggies.
I got birthday nugs because we were in London for my birthday.
We did celebrate your birthday,
and I had birthday nugs. Best thing. I had little chicken nuggies.
I was like, I want nugs, and then I came home and I was like, I'll make them, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to. It's going to take way too long. But yeah, so moving on from the event, this is where we got our. So yeah, so as you said, the event came with this beer.
Yep. 4,
so
2, 1.
I got you. Rick drank his already.
Obviously, this beer is called 421. Brew numbers always call their beers by different numbers, but 421 must have a significance in Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's in reference to TK421, because that number was the operating number of a man who was an Imperial Stormtrooper during the Galactic Civil War. But I'm guessing that's what it's in reference to, because I feel like
the reference,
if that's not the right reference,
please let us know.
But I know, like immediately I was like, oh, that sounds really familiar. I know it is in like reference to something, and then sort of I was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. And then I sort of like Googled just to be like, let me just double check that is definitely like what it is, and it's not anything else. And what came up was TK421 Stormtrooper had secret gay romance in A New Hope.
With who?
I don't know, because I didn't read the article. Yeah. I don't know. I've not read this. I don't know what it is. But I will leave that up to other people to go and Google that.
Find out.
But if there is... I think you're right, though. I feel like I wanted to say, like, Execute Order 421. And I feel like I'm...
Or is it Execute Order 66? That was a different beard. That was a beard from...
Yeah.
That, they had that at Arundel when we did the festival.
Yeah.
Was it with ampersand?
Yes, you're right. So, Execute Order 66 was an ampersand Emperor's collab.
Yeah. That was nice. That was along our bar at one point when we did Arundel Brewfest.
It wasn't. It was really good, if I remember correctly.
It was good.
Really enjoyed it.
So we've had a fair few Star Wars beers, but I think you've got some information about beers in Star Wars.
Yeah,
right?
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to educate myself, because I say, you know, I like watching Star Wars. It's fun to watch. I enjoy it. But I thought, let me actually take that a step further and see about beers and alcohol in general, like in the Star Wars universe. So I think what's really sort of important to say as well is it's more important for like some of the fun facts I'm going to talk about as well later. But there's the expanded universe, which was called, like, it was referred to as like the EU expanded universe, and that's made up of all the licensed and background stories of the Star Wars universe, and that's like what's immediately outside of sort of like the 6 original films,
right?
And it was covering sort of any material up until April 25th 2014, and that was covering like novels, video games, comic books. There was like pretty much anything that was sort of telling the lore and the stories of Star Wars up until that point were creating this universe.
I love this about like series and different, you know, fictional worlds. I love this because I've recently been doing this with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you have been listening recently, you'll know that vampires are my fave.
And also, if you want us to create a Buffy the Vampire Slayer
let us
podcast,
know,
let us know.
I haven't had a chance yet. I was going to research Buffy podcasts. I need to do that. A Woman's View, Buffy the Vampire Slayer edition.
Women's View, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But I've been looking into that because I want to read the comics. And then it's working out which ones are canon and which ones are non-canon and which ones feed into like the actual universe and stuff. I love that. I love that about like fictional series book, that you enjoy, because like it just keeps those stories and those characters that you love going. You know, I love it.
So the sad part about it though was ahead of the sequel trilogy that had that was coming out, Lucasfilms basically announced that the expanded universe was going to be rebranded as Legends. So it would no longer they were no longer going to follow that. They wanted to make it sort of like a very clear like
divide between the stories,
because they were trying to tell their stories and they were trying to very much be like, let's sort of anything that was told in this space up until 2014, we're not going to adhere to that. We're going to just sort of, because not so much the films, but it's all like the stuff that kind of all the other stuff around it, that they were like, that's great, all these stories, novels, comics, like everything. You know, we're not going to adhere to that because we don't want that to sort of dictate how we do this like prequel.
I mean, that makes sense.
But they didn't want to get rid of it entirely, so they sort of just stuck it with a badge called like Legends. So whenever something's referred to as sort of like Legends, or the Legends continuity or anything like that, that is all the old expanded universe stuff that sort of took place around the timings up until 2014 of all the 6 original films. And so some of the stuff that I'm going to sort of say when we go through this is going to be stuff that's mentioned within the novels, comics, video games, like all the not directly in the Star Wars film. So this is going to probably be something that if you are normies like us, quote unquote, and you just know on like a casual level and you haven't read the books or played all the games or anything like that, you'll probably be like, I don't know what that is. But it's hopefully an Easter egg or something a bit fun for any of you that know Star Wars a lot better than we do and could pass one of these pub quiz nights for Star Wars, because Joe and I would fail. So I've done the research so that next time I won't fail.
Take some notes, people. Get the note.
Take some notes.
Get the Star Wars notebook out and the lightsaber pen. Start taking notes.
Oh, that would be so cool. I mean, there's definitely a Star Wars pen somewhere.
Of course there is.
I think I've seen there's like a Star Wars, someone like, I don't know, I think this was like a myth, but I feel like someone created like a Star Wars like bread knife thing. So it's like you could like slice into bread, but I feel like that was a myth from like years ago, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's not real. It's like an April Fool's joke or something." So the different types. So I'll start with. So I did a few for beer and a few for just alcoholic beverages in general. Excellent. So again, as mentioned, I could probably pronounce some of this stuff wrong. I will probably pronounce some of this stuff wrong. I could Google how to say some of this, but I think there's probably different ways of saying it that like if you don't know, like it's one of those like if you know you know, and I probably don't, so apologies in advance. I'm not trying to upset anybody by my bad pronunciation. So the first one that I thought you'd appreciate would be the Sabak Sour. Okay, so this is a type of ale brewed by the by an Ugnaught named Sorin, and it is said to taste, obviously, sour. Oh. So this is referenced in a novel that is called From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, they've got a sour beer mention, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's like the fact that they've got like a sour beer in there. There's Corellian Ale, which is said to be strong, bitter, and favoured by Han Solo.
Gotta be good then,
you know,
right?
It's got to be good. It's got to be good. So that's mentioned in several books and games, including Star Wars The Old Republic, which I've not, out of all the games I've played, I don't think I've played any Star Wars games, actually, if I'm honest. I've always looked at them and gone, oh, they look cool, and then I've just never got around to playing them. But I know Kimberly has played a bunch of the Star Wars games, so she's actually probably the one we should have had on today, talking to us about Star Wars, because she's the person you want to reach out to and speak to if you like Star Wars and beer.
Yeah. Far more knowledgeable than
yeah. Jogan fruit beer. So a fruit beer popular on planet Batu. It's mentioned in the comic book series Dr. Aphra. So you go, there's a fruit beer in there.
See, all types of beers for all types of people, including Star Wars people.
I love it. Star Wars, I feel like, and there's all different like races. There's all different races in the Star Wars. Like this is like we should all be praising Star Wars more, if I'm honest. Onderonian Ale, so that's brewed on planet Onderon. So there you go. Obviously, it's said to taste strong and bitter. I feel like a lot of these are said. So you're going to know that a lot of them are strong and bitter. That's mentioned in Knights of the Old Republic game. You've got the Frisian Ale. That's this one. I like the origin of this one. It's offered by the pirate Hondo Onaka to Ezra Bridger in the Star Wars Rebels animated series. I don't know, I just like it because it's a pirate.
Pirate beer.
That was fun. Little pirate. It's cool. This one I thought was interesting, right? So there's Imperial Navy Reserve, which was mentioned in Star Wars Legends, and it's said to be brewed by the Galactic Empire, exclusively available to Imperial officers only.
Oh.
I like
sounds like it should be rum-based, though.
Yeah. Well, hold that thought. Put a pin in that. We'll circle back round. There's a Mandoa beer, which is obviously brewed by. If you had to guess who's brewing that, who would you?
The Mandalorian's brewing that.
Yeah, Mandalorian people. Yes, said to be strong and often served warm, which is like boo for me.
It's
boo.
It's an Imperial Stout, then, right?
Maybe, yeah, it could be, maybe.
Warm and strong?
It just says
Stout.
strong and warm. Yeah, for sure. And that's mentioned in the novel The Old Republic Deceived. And then there is the last beer that I've got, which is the Real. I'm going to say, I think it's pronounced Real, but
yeah, I'd say so.
Could be anything. Real beer. And it's said to be brewed from the spice Real and have a strong taste. I like to think that is the pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Imperial pumpkin spiced latte stout. That's what I like to think that one is, and so I was like, yeah, I like this one. This is good. It's mentioned in the novel Death Troopers. So that is all the beers, and then as far as the alcohol goes, just overall alcoholic beverages, there's an Audi's beverage, which is described as a strong and spicy and popular on the planet Coruscant. And that is mentioned in the novel Heir to the Empire. There's the Tatooine Sunburn, which I guess, again, if you were to guess the planet, that's
come from Tatooine, right?
Yeah, absolutely it does. What if I was like, no, Alderaan,
No,
actually, you're very wrong.
That's from Alderaan. Damn it.
No, it's made with various fruit juices and local Tatooine liquor. So that was mentioned in the comic series Star Wars Darth Vader. There's Lum, which is popular on the planet Hosnian Prime. I loved that fucking name. And I didn't even know about this planet. Like, this is it. It's like, in terms of, like, the planets, I don't know many of the planets. Fucking love that one. Hosnian Prime. Great name. And I read that and I was like, yes.
Hit us up with your facts about Hosnian Prime, please, people. Tell
Yeah,
us what we need to know about this.
I searched nothing, and I should have searched, but I was like, I crunched for time and was like, I don't have time because I'll sidetrack and I'll spiral down looking for Hosnian Prime, and that's probably going to take me all the way back to Transformers, and I was like, I can't be doing that.
Yeah,
but great planet name. But it's popular on that planet, and it's described as being sweet and fruity, and it's mentioned in the novel Bloodline. So yeah, I think I want some Lum. So there is Zabian brandy. So that's smooth and golden in colour and made on the planet Zabian. Or Zabian. I could have that completely wrong.
True.
And it's mentioned in the novel Lando Calrissian and the Mind Harp of Sharu, which I know how to say that name. I know who Lando Calrissian is. So that's fine. And that's another thing. Everyone
is. He likes Zabian brandy.
I do know who Lando Calrissian is as well, actually. So I was not just saying that as in yes, he's a man that drinks brandy. Was it Childish Gambino that played him? Now I need to know. Hang on. Yeah, in Solo. I think it was... Yeah, it was. Yeah, Childish Gambino played him in Solo, and he really did such a good job of playing that like younger Lando. It was really, really amazing. I quite liked it. I'm sure that people will be like, Solo was shit, but actually I really liked it. It was I enjoyed it. So, and I really enjoyed Childish Gambino in it. So,
the best way to upset people is to just mention Jar Jar Binks. So we'll just stick away from that.
It's fine because I equally am like most annoying character that's ever. It's like he was sent to test our patience. All of us collectively. I feel like that's a good litmus test. Like, if you're on a first date and someone's like, "Oh, I like Star Wars," be like, "Oh, how do you feel about Jar Jar?" And if they're like, "Loved him," you'd be like, "Big yellow flag." Is that the time? I gotta go. We're gonna get hate probably from like the 2 people on the planet that are like, actually, I really liked him. Yeah. Moving swiftly on, so there's Wyron's Reserve, which is a type of whiskey that is rare, expensive, and favoured by smugglers and underworld figures. So I thought, I was going to circle back around to that. And that was mentioned in the novel Scoundrels. There's Tihar, which is Mandalorian brandy, and that's mentioned in the Clone Wars animated series, which, again, I think that's probably like the one TV show that I didn't really get around to watch. It was Clone Wars. I am going to say this, and maybe it's not pronounced right, but I'm going to say it the way I hope it's pronounced, which is Spotchka, which is a type of alcohol brewed by native Tal's species on the planet Plutonia, and it's said to be strong and with the ability to cause hallucinations. And that was mentioned in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series as well. This is one that I liked because the name just made me giggle. I don't know why. It's really to the point. Death sticks.
That's brilliant.
Just death sticks. Like, that is it. Highly addictive and dangerous drug, which was often used by smugglers and criminals, and it was mentioned in just Star Wars legends, like, in general. There wasn't, I think it's just kind of across different legends, but yeah, it's listed as alcohol, even though it's like, it just sounds like a drug.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really just death sticks.
Sounds like,
which is, I feel like, what people call like cigarettes. They're like, oh,
yeah,
death sticks.
Yeah.
Death sticks. And then the last one, which is Bespin Port, which is made on planet Bespin, as you'd guess, and is said to have rich, sweet flavour, and that is mentioned in Star Wars Legends, again, like the Legends continuity as a whole.
What you're telling me is that some of these beers up the top here need to be aged in some Bespin port barrels, right?
With death sticks, yeah.
With death sticks.
I believe that's what I'm saying, yeah.
I feel like this, like, we need to pitch this to Damien. This is what he needs to make.
He needs to make a beer called Death Sticks. And it has to be just like a super, like, high ABV, but also like super smooth, super tasty. I mean, all of his are, so there's probably any of them. He could rebrand any of them as Death Sticks. But that's what he's got to do. He's got to make one that is like super addictive. You want to keep going back and buying it. I mean, again, that's all of his beer. Yeah, relabel one, just call it Death Sticks. I think it'd be great. But also, if you do call it Death Sticks, now I feel like now we know where you got that idea from. And that's fine, just have it, but then that's like a pat on the back for us. So if you see Death Sticks coming out by Emperor's Brewery, you're welcome. So yeah, that's all the alcohol and beer names I've got for you. Did any sound particularly up your alley?
I feel like we need the pumpkin spice one.
The one that I've made up is pumpkin
The one that we've decided is the pumpkin spice of Star Wars. Like, I feel like we need that.
Someone's going to hit me with, like, no, here's all the facts of, like, what it is. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still pumpkin spice, though. It's fine. I've made up in my mind. And that's the truth now. It's in my head, so that's the truth. But yeah, no, I think the Sabak Sour...
Yeah, that sounds...
feels like something I want. And I think I also want the Imperial Navy Reserve because, like, that's exclusive. And so, like, I feel like I want the exclusivity.
Right. I see.
Age it with some death sticks in a Bespin Port. And it will be a Bespin Port barrel. And we're good. We got it.
So
that's all I've got for you on that one. Shall we crack our second beer?
Sure. Do you want to tell me what yours is? Because we've got different ones this time.
We do, yeah. I've got the S43 Brewery and Full Circle Brew Co. collab, which is May the Bock Be With You. And it's a Maybock. It's a 7.3% Maybock, which is perfect because it's literally just the start of May. And I love a good bock. So, Maybock.
I have got Dustin Crops from Loki.
The name always makes me laugh.
And it is a chocolate, tonka, and hazelnut imperial stout. I'm going big and then going home.
Oh, that sounds so good. You say you're going big and then going
home. Yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight.
I'm going big and then I'm going immediately home.
Immediately. Do not pass go.
I just want to point out as well, the glass that I'm going to use...
Or you can use your one for...
Star Wars theme.
Yeah, well, I've got that one as well, and I definitely didn't bring it up either.
Whoosh, you are so unprepared. So, talking about all... Well, as we're going to pour this, talking about the other beers that we've got, so I did bring this to showcase as well. So this is the Heist Brew Co. collaboration with Emperors, and that is the Rumthing Dark Side, and that was their Imperial Salted Caramel Stout. So, yeah, there's that.
So that's the second that's the second
Haven't cracked it.
iteration of that as well. So there was the first one that was just salted caramel stout, which was beautiful, and then this is the second one because they then barrel aged it.
I feel like I either had the original at some point, or I might
the
still have a
original.
can of it. Like,
Do you know
kicking around
what?
somewhere.
I picked up the original in can at the first ever Gencraft.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Swish.
I've got the glass. I've got the glass and the can to match.
I've got that glass and that can as well, but I haven't got around to drinking them. And I've got another one here. This is Jedi Mind Tricks, which is Emperors and Three Hills, and it's a mole-inspired Imperial Stout.
Ooh, I skipped that one.
See, we might have to share it because
I skipped getting that one.
But we should share it.
We should share it because that means we've got room for more. And then the only other one that I brought was from a galaxy far, far away, and that's the Vault City Emperors one. And that is
nice. I've also got
whiskey barrel aged Imperial Stout. All of them are Imperial Stouts. I feel like it's just...
they're all Imperial Stouts.
It is properly.
I've also got Disturbance in the Fence, which is a great name.
That is an amazing
Such a good name. And that was an Emperor's Staggeringly Good and Bathhouse X collaboration.
Nice.
Because, so I love the name because it's, Disturbance in the Force, Disturbance in the Fence because dinosaurs, because of Staggeringly Good. And
I
Jurassic
do
Park.
like that.
So it's such a good crossover. And I've got Never Tell Me the Odds barrel aged from Arundel. And,
I like that. That's a good name as well.
And Emperors. And I think we had Never Tell Me the Odds as an Imperial Stout at Arundel Brewfest. And this is the barrel aged version. I definitely had the original. And I've also got Rebel Fortress, which is another Three Hills and Emperors one, which was a maple pecan and date Imperial Stout. And I've not drunk that one yet either.
I think I do still have... See, I don't have, like, the list of ones I've got in front of me. I just pulled those ones. I know I've definitely got... I've got more stouts for sure. I think I've got a Fallen Acorn Imperial Stout that had a Star Wars theme to it as well.
Was that a Mind Trick? Was that called Mind Tricks as well?
Oh, yeah. Yes, simple tricks and nonsense.
Simple tricks and nonsense. Yeah, that was a good beer.
Yeah, it was a. I can't remember if I had that one yet or not. I can't remember if it's still in my cupboard.
It had a lovely label. I remember.
Yeah, I think a lot of things sold it for me, and that was part of it as well. So, yeah. Well, cheers. Mine's super foamy.
You've got a nice colour, Mabel. I've got a very dark brown Imperial Stout. Mine is very hazelnutty, very tonka. Ooh.
I'm gonna say I'm happy with my Maybach. I love a good Maybach. It's a good
hazelnut.
So speaking of fortuitous timing as well, and talking about other beers as well that have like the Star Wars theme, I think Brew York just sent out an email today. So by the time you hear this, it'll be like a week on. So maybe you've already ordered it, maybe you haven't. And they've done their Star Wars beer like box set, where they've done the Mangalorean, which is a mango and lime milkshake IPA, and they've done Obi-Wan Cannoli, which is the cannoli milk stout.
So I had Obi-Wan Cannoli recently from the last time they brewed it. It was pretty good.
I didn't get it, but I know I probably will have it the next time I'm at my local bottle shop, because I know they do have it. So,
listen back to I think we were talking about our yearly goals, and Tori tries to correct me when I call it Obi-Wan Cannoli, and she's like, "That's
you said something," and I think, because I thought you were saying something else, and I didn't.
You thought I was saying Obi-Wan
you.
Kenobi, and you were like that, and I was like, Obi-Wan Cannoli, because it's a cannoli beer.
Yeah, I think that it was like when you said it, it sort of confused me, and I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah,
and for a minute, I was like, "I'm confused," and then I was like, "Oh." Yeah. I get it now.
I think you'll enjoy it. It had some real,
I love cannoli,
orangey notes to it, like orange oil type notes to it.
Then maybe it's not for me.
Yeah, see what you think, because I was surprised because I expected it to be more chocolatey, creamy.
Because pastry. I love cannolis, like actual cannoli desserts.
Yeah.
And not like so much the citrus kind, but just like because you can get cannolis where there's like more citrusy. I just like standard cannolis with the little chalky chips in them. And so that's what I'd be expecting would be sort of like that creaminess, the rich like chocolate, just very, I don't know, very like rich. And just...
Yeah, it definitely was. And then there was this bit of citrus.
But then if there's like orange in it, I'm like, oh no.
I want you to try it.
Not
and
for
tell me.
me.
What you think.
I will try it. I definitely will try it, and I'll be honest about it. But if I can seek that out, I will. I thought sort of as we drink the second beer that I would tell you as well. So like obviously you've got Disney theme parks. So Disney obviously owns Star Wars now.
They do.
Great. They own everything.
The mouse owns Star Wars.
The mouse owns what the mouse wants.
But you know that makes Leia a Disney princess. So
true. So obviously there's the whole in Disney World they've got the Galaxy's Edge theme park. So
I want to go to it.
It's part of what we were saying about being like Star Wars people. We already know this. I think we people. Also thought we were Disney people.
We're not Disney people.
And then we met Disney people. We're like, oh, we're not Disney people.
We're not Disney people.
I would like to go maybe to eat and drink my way around the place more than the rides, but like
100%.
It would depend on price. I don't know, we'll see.
My friend works in the Orlando one,
so I'm hoping to maybe potentially go to California in the next year or so, and if I do have to go to Disney, I definitely want to go to Galaxy's Edge. So there's a few stands in there, so I thought I'd sort of like highlight the alcoholic drinks there. It's really funny. So there's Olga's Cantina and Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo, which are like the main food spots. So the alcoholic beverages at Olga's Cantina, if you were to go to Galaxy's Edge, you'd get something called a fuzzy tantrum. That's $18.
$18?
Yeah, $18.
What's in it?
Kettle One botanical peach and orange vodka.
Okay.
Bowls peach schnapps liqueur. Yeah, they brand name it. The mouse doesn't go cheap. He's not using knockoffs. He's not using like Lidl's own. He is 100% going
top
Kettle
shelf.
One.
Top shelf, dude.
And like botanical peach and orange vodka. Like that's not even like normal peach. That is just botanical peach. Bowls peach schnapps liqueur, and that's again brand name. Is not like Lidl's own. Orange juice with tangerine. Like that is.
Fancy pants.
So specific. Pure sugar cane and buzz button tingling foam. I don't know what that means. I have so many additional questions. I don't know. For 18 quid.
If you've had this, please tell us what that is.
Yeah, please. Like, I need to go to the theme park and just drink my way through. You've got, so talking about Jedi Mind Tricks. So there's Jedi Mind Trick for $17.
What's in that?
Kettle One botanical grapefruit and rose vodka. John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum. What even is that?
What's that?
John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum.
I've never heard of it.
You just Googled it. It's a liqueur. So there you go. There's your pub quiz night. This is the answer to the pub quiz question you're never going to be asked. Because what actually even is this? You can order it.
Velvet Falernum.
Velvet Falernum. You can order it on Amazon for £16.94, and it will. Don't worry, it's on Prime, so I'm make sure I get this on Thursday. So 2 days time, I can have my own John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum liqueur. What were those? What were the mixture that you said it was? Because I know it's like a traditional Barbados sweet alcoholic cordial.
Yes, it was invented in Barbados in the early 1800s, and it was made at home by steeping lime, ginger, almonds and cloves in something that I can't see because it's not that much on Google.
So yeah, there you go. John G. Taylor's Velvet Falernum, that drink that everyone knows. So yeah, Jedi Mind Tricks is that. Kettle One botanical grapefruit and rose vodka. Bowls Blue Curacao liqueur, which you'll be shocked how many people don't fucking know what Curacao is in this country. I had to go around so many different shops and people made me feel like a weirdo for asking for Curacao.
I don't know what Blue Curacao is. Did you say Blue Curacao?
I said I'm looking for Blue Curacao and they were like, what is that? And I was like, a mixer? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And they were like, how do you, like, what, I don't know what that is. They made me feel stupid. And I was like, cool. Yeah, and then white grape juice, lime juice, and grapefruit bitters. So that is, if you want to pay... I'd actually probably... they're all expensive. It's Disney.
Yeah.
But if I was going to pick one so far off this list, that's probably the one I'd go for, just because it's interesting. You've got a bloody...
Flavors.
Lots of flavors, and I like flavors.
Yeah, I know
There's
you love the flavors.
Bloody Rancor, which is $20, and that's Tito's vodka, Ancho Reyes chili liqueur, spicy Bloody Mary mix, and Rancor bone, which I feel like you are not gonna like that one.
Not for me.
Spicerino.
That's
There's
not the one.
T16, that's not the one. T16 Skyhopper, $18, and that is Tito's handmade vodka, bowls, melon liqueur, kiwi, and half. You've got Outer Rim for $19, which is Patron Silver Tequila, Stirring's pomegranate liqueur, lime juice, pure cane sugar, with black salt, and exotic fruit puree.
That's the one for me. That's my drink. That's for me.
I don't know if that one is for me, because I feel like that's going to be like very acidic.
It's got the tequila in it, and I'm happy. Thank you very much.
There's a Dagobah Slug Slinger for $18, and that's a Herradura Reposado tequila. Another... This is also brand names. Like, I feel like sponsor us companies. I've been brand naming the shit out of things. I'm just going to say Blue Carousel liqueur. There we go. Blue Carousel. Citrus juices, ginger, herbs, and bitters. There's a Bespin Fizz for $20, which is rum. I'm not even going to start. I'm not naming these companies anymore. Rum, yuzu puree, pomegranate juice, white cranberry juice, and a cloud swirl. Actually, that one might be for me.
That sounds great.
I'm between Jedi Mind Trick and the flaves of Jedi Mind Trick with the Bespin Fizz.
What was the other one with the black salt?
It's Bespin! Bespin, because that's...
Bespin's my planet. Apparently I'm from Bespin.
You might be. There's Jet Juice, which is $17, and that's bourbon, Ancho Reyes chili liqueur, Stirring's pomegranate liqueur, white grape juice, and lemon juice. And then the last one, $46. 46.
Do I get to keep the glass?
You do! It's called a Yub Nub.
Brilliant.
Yub Nub. It is Malibu pineapple rum. I'll name drop them because I like Malibu. That's fine. I've said it now. Sailor Jerry spiced rum. Citrus juices, passion fruit, served in a souvenir Endor mug. There you go, you get to keep the mug. But then I feel like it's probably not going to be big. It's going to be just really expensive.
It doesn't sound as exciting as the other ones, and it's more expensive.
Yeah, I'm stuck between a Bespin Fizz and a Jedi Mind Trick, I think. And you are between a Bespin Fizz and the Outer Rim. Those are your two drinks.
Give me an Outer Rim, that sounds...
So that's what's in Olga's Cantina, and that's... yeah, it does a bit. That's in Olga's Cantina, and then you've got Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo, where the only beverages with alcohol you can get. There's a Takodana Quencher for $16.50, which is a dragonberry rum, blue carousel, and orange and pineapple juice and kiwi juice.
Ooh.
There's a Gold Squadron Lager, which is Blue Point Brewing Co. I've not heard of them. I don't know. I'm gonna guess they're probably.
I've heard of Blue Point.
I have not.
I'll drink that.
Guess they California brewery. I'm gonna guess maybe.
Maybe. I feel like I had Blue Point when I was at the Tampa Renaissance
maybe
Festival.
It is. Oh, Blue Point Brewing Co. It looks like it's New York.
Oh.
So there you go.
I feel like they're owned by like AB InBev nowadays.
Potentially, I do not know.
I think they got bought out.
But yeah, that's $13.75, and that's 16-ounce draft of a golden lager with lavender and plum flavors. So actually, that sounds quite interesting. So I'd probably try that. And then there's a Surly
You've
Surlac.
You've got to seek out the places you can get booze while you're at Disney. This is like...
It's true. I want to drink my way around Epcot, if I'm honest.
Have you never done it?
No, I've never done it.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
I feel like that's the only thing that I want to go is just drink my way around the different themes. And
I feel like this is a girls' holiday / we can swing this and say it's for work. It's for the podcast.
It's for work. This is not my job. I do not get paid to go to Florida.
I feel like
but I don't get paid.
But what if we went and did this for the podcast?
It's a job you do for love, not money.
Yes, true.
The last drink you can get there is the Surly Sarlacc, which is $14.50, and that's botanical grapefruit and rose vodka, limeade, raspberry, and spicy mango flavors. So that's
spicy mango.
Spicy mango. So that's what you get at Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo. And then at the stands, because there was like 2 different stands. There's the milk stand, and you could get blue milk and green milk, which are famous in the films. And this was one of the questions that was definitely on the quiz about. One of the answers was blue milk, and I was like, or that was part of the question, and I was like, right. I don't know. And that's something that then I felt really stupid about. But for alcoholic beverages, you can get at the milk stand, you can get a blue milk cooler, which is coconut and rice milk with fruity characteristics. There is no description beyond fruity characteristics, and Bacardi rum. And then you have a green milk cooler, which is coconut and rice milk with citrus and tropical characteristics. And Blanco tequila. So that's probably the one for you.
That'll be the one for me. I'll have a green milk.
The tequila one's the one for you.
I'd
probably go with the blue milk.
There we go. Those sound like hop descriptors. They sound like
they
lazy
do a
hop
bit
descriptors.
Yeah, they do a bit. It's like someone that works in beer has been asked to do descriptions for like what these cocktails are.
Citrus and fruity. Stone fruit.
Characteristics. You've got the Ronto Roasters stand. So the other stand is Ronto Roasters, and they do a Coruscant cooler, which is bourbon, maraschino liqueur, sweet vermouth, cranberry juice, and lime juice. And then they also do that Surly Sarlacc. So yeah, and then they've got Tradition Ale, which is just Dogfish Head's spiced wheat ale.
I will drink it.
But at least the other one, it was like there's some interesting flavours in there. This is, I mean, I like wheat beer, but it's just a
I like Dogfish Head.
Wheat ale. And I like Dogfish Head, yeah. It's just a spiced wheat ale. So there you go. Those are the drinks in Disney. And then do you want me to round the episode out with giving you some fun facts?
Always.
We like to end on fun
always
facts.
Want
how's
fun
your
facts.
How's your beer going down before I give you the fun facts?
I mean, it's 11%, and it's a school night, so you know, I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
I was going to say, people are going to think we're drunk. Like, for me, anyways, I can only speak for myself. I'm just tired. I joined this. People ask me, what if you're tired when you podcast? And you just go, the show's got to go on.
The show must go on.
The show must go. It's a recorder night. A recorder night is a recorder night. And the show must go on. Happen. So I'm sorry, guys. This is what you're getting is just...
But we're bringing you the fun facts.
The fun
facts. We're bringing you the expensive drink descriptions.
I feel like we need like a... I feel like we need a song to intro the fun facts.
Do we need a jingle? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, we need like a fun fact jingle.
Message us if you want to produce our fun facts jingle.
We'll try to pay you. I mean, we lose money every episode, but we will try to pay you.
If you want us to have a fun facts jingle, pop on over to Coffee and chuck us a little bit of money, and we will feed that into getting a fun facts jingle. The link for Coffee is in the show notes.
I would love a jingle for fun facts. So to start off fun facts off, so I'd start like the first two really are sort of alcohol themed, really beer themed. So apparently, it is known, according to Wikipedia.
It is known.
Wikipedia. It is known.
Wikipedia. That's brilliant.
Wikipedia. Yeah. If consumed, beers would make Jawas shrivel up like slugs.
Oh no.
It's a bit sad, but also, I think Jawas are a bit annoying. I'm going to say that.
She said what she said.
I said what I said. It's not like they're Ewoks, which I have a fun fact about Ewoks in a minute.
I love
Ewoks. That I'm like, don't you touch the babies. You let the babies be. So, the other beer-related facts. So, you know how I talked about the expanded universe and that turning into legends and all that stuff. So, there is, as part of the legends... there was a brewery like mentioned, or there was a beer mentioned called like a galactic beer, and a galactic ale is what it was. And there was a company mentioned in it that brewed that called the Galactic Brewing Company. It wasn't quite clear, like it's likely beer because it's galactic ale, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like a little bit over interpretation, I guess. But if you do a search for that, because I was like, I think I started trying to fact check this fact about galactic ale and Galactic Brewing Company, just to be like, let's double check it. What came up was an actual website for a brewery called, if you Google the internets, you will find there's Galactic Brewing Co. And they have a seasonal beer that is called Galactic, which is a Belgian Golden Strong. So that exists, right? Supposedly. I am not 100%... This is not so much a fun fact as much as I fell down a rabbit hole Googling this. And I'm not 100% sure if this is like a piss take or a real brewery.
Or an actual beer and brewery.
Really not sure, because I was like, where are they located? Like, let's put that in.
Yeah.
And they basically, like, so on the website, which we can link to that website, I'm sure, it like doesn't actually say at all. Well, I was like, surely if I search enough, I'll see where they're from. So the telephone number is 1-800-SPACE-BEER. It's at the bottom. And then the address is 404 Galactic Way, Tycho Crater, the Moon. I was like...
It's a wine.
Cool. You'd think. But then I'm on the website now, and they have, like, our beer. So you go into our beer, and they have, like, an IPA called Interstellar. There's Pulsar, a Pale Ale. The names are really cool, because it's all, like, space-inspired sort of names.
Yeah.
Critical Mass Imperial Stout. Like, I thought that was really cool. They've got Eclipse, which is an English Pale Ale. Celestial, Czech Pilsner, Aurora, and Amber Ale. And then they've got seasonals. So they've got the Galactic, which is Belgian Strong. They've got Supernova, which is a Saison. They've got an Alt Beer. The thing is it started getting a little bit sus, right? It started getting sus because before I even hit the bottom with the address and the phone number, because I was like, then they've got Schwarzschild, which is a Schwarz beer. And I was like, okay, fine. Orbit, Oatmeal Stout, Magnetic, Mild Ale. And I was like, they literally seem to be brewing everything. Okay. And then it's like barrel aged. They've got Dark Matter, a Russian Imperial Stout, Redshift, a Japanese rice lager, Observatory, an Odd Brood, Nebula, a Dipper, which is under barrel aged as well, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And the Japanese rice lager, which is 5.8%, is under barrel aged. I was like, okay, fine. And there's Black Hole, American barley wine, Gravity, which is a Goes, and I was like, this is like they are like making all the things. Now, hang on, that's the end of it. Do I hear you ask? Fuck, it is. They've got experimental. So they've got Singularity, which is a sour ale, Neutron, which is a Belgian double, and I was like, okay, I'll give you that. Fine, I'll give you the sour.
Yeah.
Radar, which is an IPA.
What,
Solar,
experimental?
Solar, which is a Scotch ale.
Experimental hops in it.
I can't click on it, so I couldn't even tell you. There's Solar, which is a Scotch ale, Lightspeed, a Lambic, and Horizon, which is a Hefeweizen, which is, like, I wouldn't say that's experimental. No. I just noticed they had it broken down into all these different styles, and there was so many, like, cool named, cool sounding beers, but I was like, there's no way they're brewing all of, like, this is, and even, like, I understand,
could be a record
seasonal,
of what they've
like,
brewed.
They're not going to be doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But even, like, the year round, I mean, it's not that uncommon, I guess, for that range in general, but that was a bit like, okay, interesting. A Japanese rice lager under barrel aged at 5.8%. Okay. All right.
Maybe
cool.
the website was
that.
just put together by somebody that didn't understand beer.
That's what I was thinking. And then I got to the bottom and that was like telephone number 1-800-SPACE-BEER and 404 Galactic Way. And I was like, okay.
Suspect.
And then you can go into like about the brewery. And the brewmaster is called Mr. Dr. Brewer.
That's brilliant.
Legitimately. You click into the about section. We'll put this link here. You can look at it yourself. Click into the about section and then you go. But the thing is, then they've got facilities and they've got actual photos of a brewery. And I was like, okay.
I mean, that could be anybody's brewery though.
It's like copper kettles. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. Like, there's lots of copper, which I feel like it looks a little bit more distilling like than it does brewing, if you know what I mean. If you were to look at these photos, But I'm sure it is like, it could be just like copper brewing kit, which is fine, fair enough. Because they do have actual like tanks and some very clear stuff. But looking at the photos, that kind of doesn't look like they're in the same place. But maybe they are. I don't know.
Doing
so
a
that
deep dive investigation on this,
that sort of threw me off, and I was like, "What the hell?" And so I was like, "You keep scrolling, it goes staff, and then they've got a bunch of like normal named
normal
people.
looking people.
No, not lookish, normal named people, and then the head guy is just called Mr. Dr. Brewer, and he's the brewmaster.
Dr. Brewer.
He's the brewmaster.
Okay.
And then this one I think you'll appreciate. He's the yeast management.
Yep.
In his name is Han Helleratu.
Han Helleratu.
That is his name.
Okay.
Han Helleratu. So yeah, that's what I was sort of like, this is a piss take. This is an actual piss. I was like, this has to be. And then there's something at the bottom that has like another website.
He's going to get hold of us and be like, no.
I am real, madam.
What is your problem?
I manage the yeast. I do the yeast management.
How very dare you?
But yeah, there's no like fact there. That was just strictly fun. Because then I googled, because being like, where are they from? Like, what's going on? Couldn't find a trace of them anywhere else on the internet.
Interesting.
So the only thing I could find was on Untapped, and that was for like like a homebrew situation. Okay. But yeah, arguably that was my favourite fun, not so fact, because I was like, I deep dove. I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, what is going on? And I thought I wanted to go on their LinkedIn. They have links. They've got a link to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But then you click on it, it just takes you to like the main page. And I was like, it's like someone set this website up.
Yeah.
But like, we're going to make it look legit. Future us might want to go legit. And it was great. So yeah, we'll finish off with some actual just fun Star Wars fun facts.
Amazing.
Just got a few of them, not too many. We've been here a while. We won't keep you much longer. So, Chewbacca.
Love Chewbacca.
Was inspired by George Lucas's Alaskan Malamute named Indiana.
Obs.
And do you want to know why?
Why?
Because supposedly he would sit in the front seat of the car with George like a co-pilot and was often mistaken as a person. How adorable is that?
Mistaken as a person?
Yes!
Oh, God.
Oh, Google. I encourage you to Google, because I fact checked. So these ones, I went through and I was like, let me just double check that these are all, before I start. I know I like to talk shit, but let's make sure that they're actually somewhat true. So I was like, Googling them. Yes. I encourage you to go look at George Lucas's Malamute named Indiana. What a babe. What an absolute gorgeous specimen of dog. I was like, oh, I want to give it all the scritches. Love it. But yeah, I guess I could see that. The people-like qualities. I love it. So good. That was probably my favourite one, so I led with that one. This is just quite interesting. So the Jawa language... And I'm not a Jawa fan myself. I just find them a bit like, ugh. But they're a bit, they get on your nerves, for me. The Jawa language actually based off of African Zulu. I think there was also another, like, I want to say like a Mayan language as well, but there's African Zulu, and it was sped up in post-production. Oh, okay. So it's not like 100% that language, but it was based on that. And then apparently when I was doing my fact-checking Google, it said, celebrities such as like Trevor Noah have been able to say what certain words are. I don't know how true that is, but that is just in my fact-checking mission. Yeah. That came up, so I thought that was interesting. Here's a good one. The word Ewok was never actually spoken in the original Star Wars saga. No character ever said the word Jawa. It was only Ewok, sorry. No character ever said the word Ewok. It was literally just in the end credits.
Huh. How funny.
Literally, nobody said Ewok. We just know they're Ewoks. I guess, because we just do.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
cartoon.
Like out. Yeah, I mean, outside.
Love the Ewok cartoon.
Outside of that, outside of the original saga, like obviously, but as far as the original saga goes, They're only named in the credits. No one actually ever talks about them. Like, no one, they talk about them, but they don't say the word Ewok.
Right, say the race name. Interesting.
Yes. So you've got second to last one, which is the word Jedi, is said to have been derived from the Japanese word of Jedi, meaning era, or Jedi Geki, which means period drama, like literally translates to period drama, and often it's like as in the genre of film and TV, and that was usually set in the Edo period, and the Edo period was very like samurai heavy.
Yeah.
So George Lucas was reported to have said that he was inspired by samurai films when he was creating the Jedi Order, because he sort of like modelled it after
I can totally see that.
Yeah, and there's lots of like I think one of the new Star Wars animated series that they did, they had a bunch of different like interpretations of Jedis, and one of them, somebody did like a really, really cool like anime samurai situation. But yeah, I can definitely see that, and I just thought that was quite interesting, especially as someone that loves like Japanese culture. I thought that was really cool. And then the last one, which is Boba Fett, was originally intended to have a much larger role in the movies, but his screen time was reduced due to budget constraints.
It's
sad.
That is the way. That is the way.
It is the way.
That's the way of entertainment, I'm afraid. The amount of times I've made a costume, I've spent hours on it, and then it gets cut.
But we don't have Book of Joanne, we've got Book of Boba Fett.
Hey!
So you can't be too sad.
I mean, we can have the Book of Joanne.
We can have the Book of Joanne. I'm just saying, it's like, we shouldn't feel bad for Boba Fett. He's got Book of Boba Fett.
Because he got his whole own series, so
whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it's the Mandalorian, it's all of it. We got it. We got you, Boba. So yeah, that's all the fun facts I've got for today.
Enjoyed
Tori's Fun Fact Corner. So I need to get a better like name for it, because that just doesn't roll off. I need some alliteration. I'll think of that. We'll think of it later. Yeah,
think of some names for us, people. What is Tori's Fun Fact Corner going to be called, other than Tori's Fun Fact Corner?
We'll think of something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got. That's all I've got for you guys today.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think we've put the world to rights about how much of a Star Wars geek you need to be to enjoy Star Wars, and it is 0.
I think
enjoy what you want to enjoy, people.
You could even be someone that's just like, yeah, it's not for me, full stop. I've never watched the films, I don't care about it. And you could still enjoy all these amazing beers. So it's just another thing to pull people together.
Community.
Speaking of community, Joe, where can people reach out to you and talk to you about, like, maybe they really liked the costume design aspect in the Star Wars films? Because
you know what? The costumes in Star Wars are epic. Like, you look at Padme Amidala's outfits.
So good.
That
inspired me as a child.
I have books. And also, who's your favourite Star Wars character? We haven't said this.
Oh, favourite?
Yes. You're only allowed one.
I might like Lando.
Ooh.
I think I might like Lando. Yeah. I could tell you I could tell you my least favourite one.
Jar Jar.
No, no, okay. We take Jar Jar out because that's obvious.
He's taken out because that's off. I think back in the day I would have said Padme, but definitely Leia. Like General Organa, yes please. Also Carrie Fisher. She's my girl. Like,
I was gonna say, back in the day I also probably would have said Padme Amidala. Yeah. But I think maybe Lando.
Those Amidala women.
Strong
Come
women.
on. Love it. Yeah.
So, least favourite, but it can't be Jar Jar.
Oh.
I could tell you immediately who mine is. Immediately.
Palpatine.
Oh yeah, ugh.
See?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, I'm sorry, Damien. I didn't mean to be so visually about Palpatine, but if you know, you know. Yeah, mine's General Grievous. Immediately no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hate him. Yeah. I don't know. He freaks me out. I saw someone's cosplay, and I think I show you, and I was like, oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
I was like, I immediately hate it.
But
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean that he's a good villain then? If he strikes that emotion in you,
he's an amazing villain because I was like,
Yeah.
ugh, no, ugh.
Yeah.
It made me feel uncomfortable. I hated it.
yeah, it's like certain actors
More than I would say, like Darth Vader or anything like that. Like good villains, but like I wasn't like really,
you didn't have like a
really
physical,
like
emotional reaction.
Yeah, I didn't have that like. I feel like General Grievous. I was like, oh, I feel like physically uncomfortable watching.
That's like
this cosplay.
I feel like that's just something in an actor. Like, both David Tennant and Nathan Fillion have done characters where I absolutely hated them. I was like, oh my god, I absolutely hate this person. And then I saw him in another role, and I was like, oh no, like they're that good an actor.
I can't even picture hating David Tennant.
He was in it was like a Linda LaPlante mini series on ITV, and he played absolutely horrendous. Oh, he was horrid. So, but shows how good an actor he is, because then I see him in other things, and I'm like, oh, like he was so horrendous in it. I was like, I hate that guy, and then I saw him in something else and was like, no, actually, he's just that good an actor.
Well, there you go. So back to what we were going to do, which is if someone wanted to talk to you about costuming.
Come and talk to me about the costumes in Star Wars, because I've got some good books. You can come and find me at my beer school, which isn't anything to do with costume, but I'm there. And it is Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok and Pinterest. I'm usually on Instagram. Or you can come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, or you can email me, lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. And Tori, if people want to talk to you about their love of Jar Jar Binks and how dare you say he's terrible, where can they get hold of you?
I'd rather you didn't, but if you feel like you need to tell me how much you don't like him,
they can share their hatred of General Grievous. How's that?
Yeah, if you want to share that, I'd much prefer that. But I guess either. I'm just happy if you talk to me. You can come find me on Instagram at adventures_in_hoptimism, or at Gmail at adventuresinhoptimism@gmail.com. Or you can message us both if you're just literally like, stop chatting shit. If you're going to record an episode, do it when you're in a positive, upbeat, excited, peppy mood, and not when you're tired and run ragged.
But I also
you can tell us both.
I feel like if you don't want to listen to us talk nonsense, why are you listening to this podcast?
That's all we do. If you want to tell us off for that, to be like, take a day off, ladies, you can do that on Instagram at A Woman's Brew on Instagram, or A Woman's Brew podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
Let's go finish our beers, because I am ready. Yeah. Let's do this.
May the force be with you.
And also with you.